Alberta's COVID vaccine rollout commences.
It's an incredibly bad policy.
Big changes, including fewer doses, and it's no longer free of charge. National Day of Action.
They need to pay their workers appropriately, first and foremost.
Air Canada flight attendants protest for higher wages.
The Right Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath.
And the new leader of the United Church of Canada with Southern Alberta roots.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla Di Giuseppe.
Good evening. You can now pre-order your flu and COVID vaccines, but the province still has not decided how much it will cost most Albertans to get their COVID shot. A fee is being added because the government wants to cut down on waste, but health experts say this could create a medical backlog in hospitals because of healthcare inequity. Tyson Fedor reports.
Ryan Penyuk suffers with long COVID, and he says a COVID vaccine is now part of his life every year.
Just doing laundry in my house, I just noticed going up and down the stairs a lot. To give me complete exhaustion to the point where I just felt so sore. My muscles were all sore. I'd have to sit down.
On Monday, the province opened pre-order bookings for influenza and COVID-19 immunizations. Although free for those in senior care facilities and those with underlying health conditions, the remainder of Albertans will have to pay for a COVID shot.
Those who want it as sort of an extra measure of protection, they'll be able to pay the cost associated with that.
That price tag has not been finalized, but the province has previously used U.S. figures to estimate its loss at $110 per shot.
There was a lot of wastage, quite frankly. 54% of the product was going to waste, and that cost, we did a calculation, over $200 million over the last 3 years. We can't afford to be over-ordering on product that people aren't consuming.
I think, unfortunately, this is going to create a barrier where some people may not be able to get the vaccine if they want to.
More than 700,000 doses were administered last year. The province ordered less than 500,000 this year.
The only province or territory that's asking its citizens to pay for a vaccine which is safe and effective.
Alberta's former top doctor says the new rollout is creating barriers for those seeking an added layer of protection.
It's an incredibly bad policy. The province has made the vaccine less accessible. They've cut out 90% of the venues that it could be available at, which were the pharmacies.
As for Alberta's Federation of Labour, it advocates for public health care. Gil McGowan says healthcare and education workers are having to fork over money to pay for a shot when they are at risk every day.
Nowhere on the list are people who have increased likelihood of exposure due to their work. This is a recipe for a medical disaster.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
If you plan to pre-book your influenza or COVID-19 vaccine or both, you can until September 30th. Another round of pre-bookings will happen as the vaccine becomes available in October. New measles cases are down in Alberta. 9 confirmed cases were reported since Friday, 7 in the north, 2 in the south. There have been more than 1,700 total confirmed cases across the province since March, primarily concentrated in the north and south health zones. Police are investigating a road rage incident that injured one person. It happened around 9 this morning on Martin Valley Way Northeast. Investigators say what started as road rage ended with a person being assaulted with a weapon. The victim is in stable condition. One person is in custody. 2 people seriously injured in a fatal crash in the Temple neighborhood last month are making progress, but loved ones say the road to recovery is a very long one. Taylor and Jonathan Ramator are on their way to the airport on July 21st when they were hit head-on by a truck going the wrong way on 52nd Street Northeast. The truck also fatally struck a woman in her 50s as she was walking. Taylor and Jonathan suffered multiple broken bones and internal lacerations. A new update on their GoFundMe says Jonathan was recently able to stand while Taylor is showing slow improvement in her mobility. The couple is visiting each other every second day. Charges are still pending against the pickup truck driver. Air Canada flight attendants picketed at 4 major airports, including Calgary, today, after more than 99% of union members voted in favor of striking. They could walk off the job if negotiations for fair pay don't produce a deal by week's end. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
They're needed inside airplanes, but stand outside the airport in silent protest for better compensation. Air Canada flight attendants from Calgary walked out at the same time as their counterparts in Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto.
An entry-level flight attendant at Air Canada makes $1,952 a month. They have to live in Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver.
These level of wages are absolutely unacceptable, especially coming out of a 10-year contract, and especially considering how much Air Canada has profited.
Along with higher wages, they want to be paid for all of their work. Right now, they're only compensated for the time the plane is in the air and often do hours of unpaid work each day.
You can be on duty for 12 to 13 hours, and your credit would be just under 7 hours.
One expert says the pay is supposed to offset those unrecognized hours, but the contract signed 11 years ago lags far behind inflation.
The cost of living, we all know, has gone off the deep end, and that's why I'm basically saying 30 to 35%. And wage increases is not unheard of for this group.
The old ways are also changing, with Delta Airlines in the United States the first to start paying wages pre- and post-flight.
Flight attendants now have a precedent that's been set.
Contract talks with the airline started at the beginning of the year, and workers have now voted almost unanimously to strike if there isn't a deal soon. An Air Canada statement says it is determined to reach a fair and equitable collective agreement that recognizes the contributions of its flight attendants and supports the competitiveness and long-term growth of the company. While bargaining talks continue, travelers are taking it in stride.
Nobody likes to be held up, especially in the airport, but if it is their right to do so, then it's okay for them to do it.
They've probably got just cause. I'm sure it's working conditions. I'm sure it's too many hours, not enough pay.
All for them to have more money and everything. They're all pleasant, and I enjoy flying with them.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
If a strike happens, experts say don't try to change your flight before it's canceled, or you won't qualify for full compensation. If a strike impacts your flight, the airline must find you an alternate solution. If you don't like their suggestion, you can request a refund. Calgary has its own wish list for major infrastructure projects needing support from Ottawa. Proponents of a pair of rail proposals are seeking the short list on the federal government's Building Canada Act. As Jordan Canagan reports, Alberta is also pushing for pipelines to make the list.
As the Prime Minister considers nation-building projects to fast-track, Calgary is pushing for multiple regional proposals to make the list.
The West has been forgotten and ignored for far too long, and it is critical that we demonstrate what kind of projects we are ready to move on.
The mayors of Calgary, Canmore, Cochrane, and Banff all signing a letter to the feds pushing for a passenger train through the Bow Valley. The proposal is being called a transformational initiative between the Calgary Airport and Banff.
And to get 4 mayors to look regionally beyond their municipal boundaries is a big achievement and an important message that's being sent both to the province and to the federal government.
Calgary also wants to see its Prairie Economic Gateway plan streamlined. The multi-billion-dollar proposal for an inland port would be an industrial and manufacturing hub built along a railway corridor to send goods throughout North America.
I think we've long had good rail infrastructure in our country, and we haven't been maximizing its use. So I think it's time to build on what we have and also build more.
As the region advocates for rail, the Premier is pushing for pipelines. Danielle Smith has repeatedly pitched for pipelines east and west to make Ottawa's shortlist. Calgary's mayor says it shouldn't be just one or the other.
A pipeline is something that we have long been advocating for, so it can't just be one thing. We need to talk about everything that the West can deliver.
Jordan Canagan, CTV News, Calgary.
The province says it's open to working with municipal and federal partners to identify national interest projects, adding Alberta's master rail plan is expected to be made public by the end of summer. Danielle is in with our first look at the weather, and it would appear that summer is making a very brief appearance.
Yes.
Really hot tomorrow.
Yeah, which means we have to make the best of it. As best as you can, because this is summer heat, summer sunshine, and even calm winds for tomorrow. What? Yes, no rain. Oh my goodness. So 16 degrees at 8 a.m. A whole lot of sunshine throughout the day. With the humidity, it will feel more like 30 in the afternoon. So enjoy what you can of it, and we'll talk about the thunderstorms that are possible by Wednesday. That's coming up.
All right, Danielle, thank you. Members of the Calgary Stampeders traded in their cleats for a day to raise awareness about homelessness in Calgary. Defensive back Adrian Green, wide receiver Dominic Rhymes, and punter Fraser Mason, along with members of the Stamps Outriders, joined the Calgary-based grassroots organization Be the Change YYC. Tonight's outreach walk involved meeting with Calgary's vulnerable population and learning about the challenges they face on the street.
We just see so many people in Calgary struggling, and we just want to do something, and even if it's tiny, we just want to try and get out here, even if it's just smiles and kindness, and just give back to something today.
The group helped hand out snacks and water to some of the Calgary's homeless. Be the Change YYC says it values its partnership with the Stampeders because it helps shine the spotlight on the issue of homelessness.
The new moderator, the Right Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath.
The United Church of Canada has installed its next moderator. Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath will lead the church for the next 3 years. The installation took place at Knox United Church in downtown Calgary tonight. Reverend Heath was elected over the weekend during the United Church's 45th General Council. Born in Zambia and raised in Canada, Reverend Heath was ordained in 1999 and began her ministry in southern Alberta at the Clare's Home Stavely Pastoral Charge before heading to Ontario, where she currently serves. Coming up, apprehension is rising for some Albertans on AISH. They're facing a deadline that could impact their benefits. We'll explain after the break.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
We're just weeks before the September 5th deadline for the 77,000 AISH recipients in Alberta to show that they've started applying for the new Federal Canada Disability Benefit. It's a $200 benefit none of them will actually receive because the Alberta government is keeping the money for itself by clawing it back. Kevin Green explains.
The province says the $200 a month Federal Canada Disability Benefit payment will be counted as non-exempt income, meaning it reduces Alberta income for the severely handicapped support by the same amount. But even though those on AISH won't see a dime of it, recipients are required to apply or lose benefits.
Demanding that those people get that money and hand it over or suffer retribution for not doing so. That to me is a textbook case of extortion.
As this map shows, Alberta is the lone exception in Canada in clawing back the federal money. Declining an on-camera interview, a provincial spokesperson characterized the move as standard practice, saying it has been a long-standing requirement for AISH recipients to apply for all other income you may be eligible for, including federal programs. This is not new. The statement goes on to say Alberta provides the highest level of support in Canada. That means little when viewed in context, according to the head of Inclusion Alberta. The maximum AISH payment is $1,901 a month.
I'm not sure it matters that it's the highest. We shouldn't be content to keep people in poverty just because they're less in poverty than maybe someone else.
Some AISH recipients like Shyla Brandt say the CDB could have allowed her to afford something she can't right now, to both pay the rent and eat. Seeing it clawed back by the province hurts.
Because it makes me feel like, we're third-class citizens in a first-class world.
Advocates want the province to reverse its decision and let recipients keep the federal benefit.
There isn't one person I've talked to in this province who thinks this is the right thing to do.
The federal government says it has tried to encourage Alberta to let qualified people keep the CDB benefit, but it says ultimately that decision is left up to the provincial government. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Premier Danielle Smith is promoting more Alberta-Mexico trade in Mexico City.
I think every single province should be sending a delegation down here because when you look at the trade relationship, it's about $55 billion for all of Canada. Alberta's trade relationship is about $3 billion. The biggest relationship we have is, in fact, in auto parts and auto manufacturing because of the integration that we have between the Canada, U.S. and Mexico market.
Smith is meeting with government officials and private sector and industry representatives. She wants to encourage new investment and to strengthen ties in agriculture and technology. This is the first official visit to Mexico by an Alberta premier since 2019. The number of bear warnings and area closures in K Country continues to grow. It's prompted the deployment of a team of experts to educate locals and tourists about how to be safe. Kathy Lee has more on the rise in bear encounters this year.
Amidst the beauty in Kananaskis, the land bursts with berries. And where there are these juicy fruits, there are bears.
With bear spray.
An increase in Bruin activity in the area.
They're all over the place. Black bears and grizzly bears.
Prompted Derek Ryder and his team to set up at the Canmore Nordic Centre to alert visitors.
This is really important, especially for tourists who don't live here or are knowledgeable.
Alberta Parks confirms there are now 17 bear warnings and closures in various popular areas in Kananaskis country. The Forestry and Parks Ministry says in July and August, bears are focused on eating as many buffalo berries as they can. The reason there have been an increase in human and bear encounters is because of the bumper berry crop, thanks to ideal weather.
We had a great amount of rain, but we also had warm at the right time.
Alberta Parks advises visitors to make noise, travel in groups, be aware of surroundings and bear warnings, keep pets on a leash, and carry bear spray anytime they're on the trails. These are precautions Howard Maw now takes every time in the backcountry after a grizzly lunged at him and his wife on a trail in Kananaskis country last month.
The lesson for us is that no matter what, if it's a short hike, even if you think it'll be a popular one with lots of people around, always be prepared.
The province says it's always looking for new ways to improve human-wildlife coexistence with various strategies to teach bears to be wary of people.
All the bear cares about is his berries.
But education for people about the bears also crucial.
If you run across a bear, stop, talk, walk. Stop. Assess what that bear is doing. If it's just got its head in the bush and it's just eating, leave it alone.
Sound advice so that animal and human can both enjoy the beauty of nature and go home happy. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Kananaskis country.
And Danielle's up next with her Skywatch forecast. We're in for a very warm Tuesday. More of those details next.
Tomorrow will be a hot one. In fact, the hottest day of the next 10 days for us. Today, well, not hot, but nice. 21 degrees was our daytime high in Calgary. That's just a couple degrees below normal. In general, southern Alberta was on average a couple degrees below normal for daytime highs today. Check out east. Oh my goodness. 32 for Toronto, 34 for Ottawa and Montreal, and Fredericton 36 with the humidity. Many communities feeling well into the 40s. So definitely some excessive heat there. We're going to get hot tomorrow, but not that hot. All right, we have the ridge of high pressure that is, you can draw it in the clouds here. This whole pattern is basically shifting off to the east. So that's pushing the cloud cover off. We had a little bit of rain early today. That's pushing off as well to the east. So stable tomorrow, sunny, hot because of the ridge of high pressure, and that sunshine will allow the temperatures to build up to those, either the high 20s for us in Calgary, for example, or to the south into the 30s for tomorrow. And the winds will be calm tomorrow as well. Okay, here's that ridge of high pressure. So for Calgary, we're looking at tomorrow being a hot day, but then after that, we're going to lose the heat as this pattern shifts. The far southeast, so Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat, will still have another hot day on Wednesday, but for Calgary on Wednesday, temperatures will start to decline, and we're also looking at that instability and thunderstorms are possible. Okay, I'll show you that in the future cast here. For tomorrow, all sunshine in the south, really. So really nice hot day. If you like summer heat and you like summer weather, which we haven't received much of so far, then tomorrow's a good day for you. Wednesday, we'll notice some clouds starting to peek in. Most of the active weather will be to the north, so Red Deer and north for the morning hours. But then this will track down the QE2 by about 3 in the afternoon. And Calgary as well, we have the potential for showers and thunderstorm activity. That's on Wednesday, anytime after 3 o'clock. All right, for tomorrow, a lot of sun, calm winds, a high of 28, and with the humidity, it will feel like 30. By Wednesday, though, just a high of 21. It will be windy, especially in the afternoon hours. We're looking at picking up 3 to 5 millimeters of rain with shower and thunderstorm activity. We likely won't even get to 20 for Thursday. Friday, we'll somewhat be back into that, just barely, but by the weekend, we will be back into those mid-20s.
That's good to see, Danielle. Thank you. Hundreds of young football players will compete in Calgary this coming weekend, where it does get a little bit warmer once again. They're also supporting a worthy cause. We've got more on the big event next. The 15th annual preseason Pee Wee and Bantam Football Jamboree is going on this Saturday at Shoaldice Park. And as Glenn Campbell reports, the Jamboree isn't just about football.
It's all quiet right now at Shoaldice Park, but on Saturday, it'll be jammed with 750 football players from 19 teams. This is year 15 for the Football Jamboree. 14-year-old Mateo DeLuzio of the Mavericks is playing in his 5th.
Oh, it's just really great because you get to go into this tournament before the season, and it's to really show off your skills and to see how your team's going to be.
For 14-year-old Max Piatelli of the Cowboys, this will be his 3rd time playing at the Jamboree.
Well, I think it's an amazing way to start off the season, obviously get everybody out there and to warm everyone up for the actual season, but also to make connections and make friends with other players and coaches.
But the Jamboree is more than just about football. In its first 14 years, it's raised over $500,000 for the Ronald McDonald House, and some of the stories hit home.
For instance, I had a player from 20 years ago whose daughter stayed in the Stollery Hospital, and they lived in Ronald McDonald House for 1.5 years while their daughter had a heart transplant and things like that. We had another player just 2 years ago that played Bantam, and he had to go all the way to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for his cancer treatments, and Ronald McDonald covered his expenses and his stay at the house.
For the players, it's a chance to get ready for the upcoming season, but also to give back, and they say that is so important.
Well, that means a lot to us. Obviously, at every organization, I think they stress giving back and learning the importance of giving to the less fortunate, or just sharing your wealth in general.
Oh, it feels amazing, right? Because we get to help other people while we get to play the sport that we love. It's the best. And at the Children's Hospital, it's really good because my sister, she injured herself, and they were really good there. It was amazing.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
Very well spoken. All right, the Jamboree goes this Saturday at Shoaldice Park. That's it for us here at CTV News at 11:30. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.